Dudes, it's Gaz, and welcome back to the Warframe video. So I want to make this video for multiple weeks at this point. We got a Armatus discussion, the newest mission in Warframe. It's got issues in my opinion, but it's also got some good parts to it as well. So this will be like a pros and cons of Armatus. And yeah, you might not really be seeing many people grinding this mission after I go over some of these things we're talking about today. But before we get into it and go over all this stuff, make sure you sub this channel. We do daily Warframe video uploads. I'll also be live on stream tonight, working on some new YouTube videos on my live stream, so come on, stop by there as well. And yeah, we actually done a lot of the discussion for this on the live stream, so if you want to be taking part in upcoming videos, make sure you come stop by and hang out. Alright, so let's go over what I'm talking about, and I'm going to give all the information I've gathered over, multiple weeks and all that. Alright, so we're talking about the newest mission, Armatus, on the Sanctum Anatomica. So it's a new disruption node. You ever played disruption before? You activate the conduits things, the enemies that are beeping, try to go and destroy them, and that's pretty much the situation. There's different ways that the drops will work. So for example, if you watch my Protea farming guide, I talked about a lot of disruption farming. And depending how many conduits you defend, will change the type of reward rotation you're on. So there's A, B, and C. C usually having the most valuable drops, and B being middle tier, and A being the easiest to achieve. So it's got the weakest rewards. So yes, on this planet right here, this is a new mission. So they actually made like new assets for this, like new keys, new demolists, etc., etc. Now the issue with this, and we're gonna get into it. Well, actually, let's do the pros first. I don't want to be only negative. Let's go over the pros of this new mission first, and that's going to be a couple things actually. One of them being that this is where you get the newest frame, Dante, and Dante is really good. Dante is extremely powerful, still very good for level 10,000s, very good for elite Archimedia, like basically cheesing it. I mean, it's so much overguard and so much constant overguard that it's pretty hard to fail if you have a Dante in your team. Alright, so let's go over what we have here. So they did make some changes to this. So here's some things to set the stage. These new demolists on this tile set cannot be armor stripped. So like Terrify from Necros doesn't work. Sonic Boom augment for Banshee doesn't work. You name it. Corrosive shards don't work. Like if you put corrosive stacks on them, they just don't even actually function past 4 procs. So anything that involves armor strip will not work on these guys. Some other things like crowd control, like slowing works on them. But yeah, they will be having their armor no matter what. Additionally, these guys have damage attenuation. If you don't know what damage attenuation is, here's a great example of it. So my teammate is using the dual toxicist Incarnon. When I got over there, this thing had Banshee weak points on it. It was getting shot with the dual toxicist. The first half of its health bar instantly crumbled. But the more players in your squad, the more damage attenuation they tack onto this thing. So a build that would one-shot this in solo will do basically this. It becomes a complete standstill at the 50% HP point on the health bar. So with that being said, these things cannot really be one-shot unless you use specific cheesy builds. We're talking like EV Trin, massively buffed. Smite Mag, massively buffed. Things like that. Now, in solo, you can one-shot them. But in a full squad, yeah, the damage attenuation gets really ramped up. It's like they want you to team-shot them or something, or they want you to use cheesy tactics. So that's one of the things, is they have massive damage attenuation. If you don't know what damage attenuation is, they basically see how much damage you're dealing and then put DR up to make it so it's just, okay, you can't insta-kill this guy. Like I said, in solo, you can pretty much easily insta-kill them. I can kill them with the glaive in one hit in solo. But that same build in multiplayer would take 4, 5, 6 throws, okay? So that's some of the changes here. Now, yes, now let's go over some of the drops here and showing, setting the stage for why this is actually going to be bad. So as far as, who runs these types of missions, who would run this mission? People would run this mission. They're trying to farm Dante for the first time, or second time for the Helmet, technically, for Darkwing Titania. But past that, people usually run Disruption for grinding out relics, because we can usually do these rotation rewards really quick. But here comes one of the problems with this place. The keys drop really slow, like the keys from the enemies, and also, looking at the drop tables, the drops are diluted by garbage. We have 600 Endo, and a 20% drop on Rotation A, and a Shrill Voca. I think it's 1,000 rep on for a 10% drop chance. We go over to, Rotation B, and it's not much better. It's going to be, a lot of it is going to be taken up by, I believe, Ruvox parts or something. So we got Ruvox parts on Rotation B, ruining the fun. Okay, we got Onos and Ruvok's parts. So there's a total of a 30% chance of not getting a relic on rotation B. So basically, I'm trying to just show you here that you would not come here to grind relics, basically ever, compared to an actual good disruption. You're fighting Demolists that take longer to kill. You're having keys that won't drop as quickly. And on rotation C, which a lot of people would like to farm, you have Dante parts and 1200 Endo diluting the drop tables massively. So we've got like a 37.5% chance not to get a relic on rotation C. Now we look at an actual good disruption. We have Apollo here. Look, it's basically guaranteed relics, unless you're on rotation C, where you have a high chance of not getting a relic. But that's why, if you're smart, it's actually only a 12% chance not to get a relic, but if you're smart, you do this rotation B, and you're getting guaranteed Axii relics from Apollo. So, there's literally no way to do guaranteed relics on Armatus. So that means people that are grinding out relics, like, after you got your 2 Dante sets, are never going to come here, because it's not going to be worth your time. It's fun to fight the new enemies. I like the new enemies a lot. But I can't in good conscience be recommending this place as a relic farm going forward, because once you get your Dante stuff, those Dante parts dilute the drop table. Now, there's a little bit more, there's still pros and cons to this. I actually kind of skipped to some of the cons, but let's just go over some of the pros here. So those Demolishers I was talking about, unlike normal Demolishers on other Apollo, like on Apollo or Olympus or whatever, they don't have a nullification burst. If you watch my Shadow of Wrath Ash video, one of the reasons I was using the Colossus is because when you're next to those Demolishers on normal disruption nodes, they release a red nully burst that turns off all your abilities. You're in melee range. So that's why the Colossus was good. It's like a ranged melee, so it could hit them from across the room. But these guys don't have that. Instead, they have the massive damage attenuation in a full squad, or pretty flimsy in a solo squad. Additionally, those Demolists drop this pity resource, which I don't remember the name of, but here's a picture of what you could do with this pity resource. On the steel path, they drop between 5 and 7. So for 180 of this pity resource, you get 100,000 credits, which is not a very good amount of credits, and it's also a lot of this resource to get that. Additionally, you can get some Riven transmuters, or this is where you can get Dante parts if you were very unlucky and didn't get them. And honestly, yeah, Dante's pretty easy to farm, honestly. These Demolists are not very hard to kill. The damage attenuation, I think, was they put a lot of stock in the damage attenuation, making them tanky, and they're pretty much just anyone can kill them at this point. So, yeah. So that's, and as far as getting a Dante part, it's gonna be 30-ish Demolists to get that Dante part, the Dante blueprint. And for the credits, it's 15 Demolists. So 4 or 5 rounds of this to get 100,000 credits. It's really just an afterthought. That stuff is there just to make it so you have the Dante pity resource. But yeah, that stuff does drop, so that could be a good thing to some people. It's another way to get Riven transmuters instead of doing Eidolon fights. That's great. But that's where a lot of the pros kind of go away, unfortunately. And people that would be, actively grinding this, like people that like to run disruption just because, they like to do disruption, they would not be grinding this, because not only is it less fun, you cannot one-shot these guys unless you're solo or doing a cheese build. But additionally, the keys drop slowly, so you're not getting to level 10,000 it's really slow. Honestly, compared to a normal disruption, you can get to level 10,000 at half the rate here. It's pretty bad. The Gruzzling does drop guaranteed keys. And also, yeah, by the way, if you didn't know this, silence from Banshee can stop the Gruzzling from splitting up. I thought that was pretty fun, but yeah. Still, the Gruzzlings will give you a guaranteed key. Everything else, it feels like the keys are extremely wimited here. So if I were to be DE, I would definitely buff the key spawn rates here. They're probably not going to change the drop tables, but yeah. Let's go over some of the cons now. So since you got those, we already went over the diluted drop tables. Some people just don't like the damage attenuation. If you like the one-shot level 10,000 Demolists, with the Ash build the other day, that's not going to really work anywhere near as well here. You're going to get them down to basically 50% health, and then you have to start shooting them a lot. So you can still kill them, of course, with those types of builds. It just takes a little bit longer. Additionally, it's kind of a lot of credits for those transmuters. If you're getting 5 to 7 per Demolist kill, it's not exactly a credit farm. You could do one Profit Taker run, get 700,000 credits. When it's not double credit weekend, you could just go to an index. I don't even know how much index drops, but definitely more than this. So I wouldn't call it a credit farm. It's technically a Riven transmuter farm, but again, you will not catch me playing this mission. Honestly, after you get your first 2 Dantes, if you even want the second one, you have little reason to go here, if any, which is kind of a shame, because I did want to like this mission a lot. And additionally, this is not exactly about Armatus specifically, but it's about something else in general. Now that they've added disruption onto the Cavia, it dilutes the bounties. Now there is no longer guaranteed exterminate bounty on the Cavia. There is a disruption bounty a lot of the time, And that means the tier 5 Deadly Whisper, if you watched my video from like months ago when Whispers in the Wall first came out, the tier 5 Deadly Whisper hunt is like extremely rare nowadays. I'm actively checking, like, what bounty is it right now? Oh, it's not tier 5 Deadly Whisper? Yeah, not surprised. It's always gonna be like a disruption bounty, or because them adding that disruption bounty it dilutes how the RNG. It's like, okay, there is a chance, and likely a very high chance you will not get one type of these missions whenever a bounty appears. Because disruption bounty can be okay, but the thing about exterminate bounty is it was good for finding Vokas, and it was fast. And if it was Deadly Whisper, you're getting a guaranteed book or it's a guaranteed book spawn every time. A guaranteed book like icon on the map, so you know exactly where it is. No random like hunting down every little room. So yeah, if you think about it like this, there's been a lot of issues involving this. Like a lot of things have become worse because of this disruption being added as far as bounties are concerned. Like my Vokas have gone down massively. I'm not hunting down Vokas in this. Now I know alchemy bounties can be okay. Those also do scale from the players in your squad and not great for hunting Vokas either. But yeah, the exterminate bounties being not removed from the pool, but the RNG of them being there is diminished. That is a big problem to me as well. Now, if I were to change this, how would I fix this? Now, if I was to fix this and make this less bad, like make people actually want to grind this, I think you could start with the special pity resource. Maybe add some Kuva to Lloyd's store. Maybe add some tome mods or relic packs. Relic packs would be great because that would mean the fact that you're getting less relics because of Dante, Ruvox, and Ono's parts diluting the drop table. That would mean you're getting pretty much the same amount of relics if you're on like an Apollo or something like that. Maybe not the same, but similar. If you added Kuva to the store, tome mods, or like relic packs, that would be a nice little addition right there. Additionally, maybe increase the key spawn and drop rate from these enemies, because that is extremely noticeable. Like on missions like Olympus, the key drop rate's great, but on missions like this, on Armatus, and even the Kuva disruption, on the Kuva Fortress, the drops feel bad. That's why a lot of players avoid the Kuva disruption, is the drops for keys feel pretty terrible. And that's why one of the reasons I'm avoiding this one too. That's basically what I want to go over here, guys. Yeah, additionally too, like I can't bring myself to do, I wanted to do level 10,000 for this before I made this video, but it's just, nobody wants to run level 10,000 for this. It's really slow. It's pretty boring, honestly. And yeah, if you are someone that likes the one-shot level 10,000 Demolist, good luck here. You have to basically use a cheese build. You have to use like a EV build with massive like damage buffs, or you have to use something like Smite Mag with like Vigorous Swap buffing the damage of the Smite Orbs. There's a couple other things you could probably do too, but those are the main ones that are like the cheese builds you could use to kill level 10,000 Demolist and here really quickly. So see you guys in the next video. Hopefully you found this one at least interesting. Let me know how you feel. Do you think this is a problem? Do you think this is not really like something that's worth mentioning? I think that this mission was doomed from the start, personally. I think that the fact that Dante parts are such a high drop rate, the Onos parts such a high drop rate, and the amount of resource they drop is not that much. It was never going to actually be good. I think the key spawn rates might be part of that problem, but yeah, this is basically the place where you farm Dante and then you never come here ever again. So see you guys next video. Go back to Apollo to farm this stuff. Go back to Olympus to farm this stuff. Just don't go here. Only go here for Dante. All right, guys. See you next time. Peace.